Today, you're watching the news, the hashtag FISHFAM news live. Don't go anywhere. What's up, YouTube and all my fish keeping friends? How's it going out there in Fish Tank Land? This is Joseph Hardin from JH Aquatics, and today we're doing the news live. I'm rushing a little bit. Got the news here, hot off the presses, or my HP NV5000. Well, it's good to see you guys in the chat. I got a lot of people in here already from the beginning, from before. I even have a super chat from Daryl Dimmer. That was awesome, $10 super chat before the stream even started. That's super duper awesome. Let me go back up here. Dank Tanks was the first in the chat today. That was pretty still like 3 hours ago. I see a D from Down the Wormholes is here. We also have Rogers Aquarium. See, he came in here early. Fish Tropic. Dank Tank is here as well. Awesome. It's good to see you guys in here. I thank you all for checking out my channel, watching my content, and being here for this live stream. Really do appreciate it. So try to keep it sweet and keep the news at the beginning of this hour-long stream, just so that people want to find it. They don't have to click all over the place. You can just pretty much watch the beginning of my live stream. In the first 15 minutes or so, you should get the news. So let me go ahead and put away the chat. What's up, Jeremy? Sergeant Tank, Pets, Dwayne Kitchell. Awesome. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go with the news first. I'll keep the chat over here on the side. Let's go with this. Well, we'll start at the top of the news with all the big heads here. We've got Joey King of DIY. He's setting up a new fish room, actually. I thought he had his gallery, and I thought he was good with that for now, but I guess there's another room in that building, and he's setting up a whole another 2 or 3 racks of tanks. That's pretty cool. If you haven't checked out, he's got these shark eggs right now, and he's did a little update this week as well on those shark eggs in their development. I have to say, it would be pretty awesome just to do that for one time, to have some kind of a really exotic egg like that and get to watch the development of the egg alone and before it hatches. So yeah, that Aquarium Co-op started putting out a lot of content from his trip to China. He has some videos of his experiences in the Hong Kong fish markets, which I really did not realize how big those markets are. It's breathtaking. I think it would probably take weeks or months to really cover the whole thing. It'd be a dream of mine to make it to that Hong Kong fish market one time in the future. That would be an awesome place to visit for sure. Flip Aquatics is giving us a little bit of a tour of his fish rooms. He's called it a mega fish room tour because it's probably more like 4 or 5 fish rooms. He just went through probably one of the biggest shipping months for him ever. He just had a huge order of shrimp come in this last month, quarantined everything, and I had shrimp on that list that I had ordered as well, waiting for them to quarantine and come out. So the last 2 weeks, he's been shipping shrimp like mad. I have to say, it's probably a huge learning experience for him. From growing up in the fish trade, I know that it is it's very, very stressful process. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot more than people think when it comes to truly importing hundreds of animals at a time, thousands of animals at a time. So hats off to him for all the work he's doing on bringing shrimp to us in the United States. Let's see, we have Dustin of Dustin's Fish Tanks. He did a cool video this week, a 360 video of an unboxing of plants, like 8 boxes of live plants that he unboxed into his greenhouse. But a lot of people haven't been playing with 360 because the resolution is not that great yet. But there's a certain time and place, I feel like, for this for 360, even though the resolution is not that great. It was actually a good place for it, I feel like, because he had him and 2 of his employees all working together in this greenhouse in different parts of the greenhouse, dealing with different tanks. But to be able to watch the whole thing 360 as it's happening is pretty cool. It's nice to see people starting to utilize 360. I feel like YouTube wanted us to take it up a lot sooner, but I think everybody's just waiting for the resolution to get better. Let's see what else we have. We have Aqua Pros. Aqua Pros shared with us a video of his cherry barbs. His red cherry barbs had fry in the tank, and he wasn't doing anything on purpose, but he had this huge and this incredible carpet of Glosso, and I think that was the ticket right there that made those cherry barbs manage to fully spawn and the fry to grow up without being consumed by their parents. Uh, and then in the end of that video, he went ahead and just hacked up that whole scape. He left a little carpet of that of the Glosso, but he was totally questioning, just completely ripping up everything and putting Monte Carlo in there instead. It was kind of hurt my heart a little bit, but that's part of the hobby. You got to change things up every once in a while. Let's see, we have Primetime Aquatics. Primetime Aquatics is announcing that he finally has a shirt for sale. He has a t-shirt for sale. I believe it's a Teespring campaign. And then he also announced that he is finally on Instagram. So you can look forward to finding some of his content on Instagram as well. So that's pretty cool. I look forward to that. So you have Jimmy of Aquarium Co-op did a video on the Mabu Studio channel. He was really trying to help all of us out there create better photographs of aquarium fish. He gave a lot of really cool tips and techniques for using cell phones and DSLRs to create some beautiful images of fish. It can be really tough. I know I've had a hard time trying to take photographs of fish, but he definitely explained the different settings on a camera that can really help you get a better image. So definitely check out that. It looked like it was just part 1, so look forward to a part 2 as well to that subject. Let's see, in salty news, we have Radical Reefs, which is he's an awesome dude. He just started his channel not too long ago. I met him at the Aquatic Experience in Chicago. He's really good friends with Rob at Flip Aquatics. So he actually has a little room in the corner of Rob Flip Aquatics warehouse, and it's all his saltwater stuff going on in there. So you should check out Radical Reefs. He's starting to make more content. I look forward to even more like some tutorial videos and stuff in regards to working with frags and saltwater aquaria. So that was pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. We have Dank Tanks. Dank Tanks did an animal tour, an animal room tour of all of his animals. I didn't realize how many terrariums and frogs and things like that he has. He won my contest giveaway for 3,000 subs. I'm sitting here. I have his T-shirt still right here. But I wanted to check out his channel before I went ahead and sent him the shirt and stickers because I'd like to throw some other stuff in there. And now that I've seen his aquariums, all of his different stuff he's got going in his terrariums, I have some really awesome dried botanicals and leaf litter and some really well curated sticks and twigs and stuff that would be awesome in some of his tanks. So I'm gonna throw some of that stuff in the box. It's probably gonna get a little bit bigger. So besides that, I have Jeffro's Fish Keeping. Jeffro's Fish Keeping did a live fish room update. So he basically did his fish room tour, but live. That was really cool because I have not been able to see all of the tanks that he has and everything that he has going on. I did not realize how many grow out tanks and how many like the Indler breeding program that he has got going on. So I definitely look forward to talking to him about getting some shrimp. Or it's not some shrimp. He's got some really nice red cherry shrimp, but some of his Indler fry as well. I'd like to grab some of those. So I'm gonna have to send him a message about that soon. Let's see, Creative Pet Keeping. She gave us a glimpse of her Apistogramma cockatoides. She has a pair of them. They're the double red cockatoides, and they're beautiful, that's for sure. But I also like her use of leaf litter in the tank. It's really, it's kind of like a blackwater tank. Not a lot of tannins, but all that leaf litter at the bottom just really gave that tank a natural look, and I'm sure that it really helped the water column, and the fish enjoyed it as well. Let's see, something to mention coming up this week, Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Big Easy will be doing a live stream on mixed African cichlids, and he looks forward to having a nice little panel of cichlid keepers and breeders that evening. I look forward to popping in there and checking that out. Big Easy, if you don't know, has been doing live streams almost every day. He does like 6 to 8 hour live streams, and it's, you never know who you're gonna find, and there's always a surprise in his chat. So check that out. Let's see. We had something funny that came up. The Guppy's Fish Room. I should be looking at the chat just to make sure everything's good. I guess my audio's good, video's good. I don't know if I'm lagging, but I'm just trying to keep going here. There's no alarms going off in my chat, so everything seems to be good. But Guppy's Fish Room, Kurosh, young man, he's about 11, 12 years old. I met him in Chicago at the Aquatic Experience. But I've really admired his knowledge in freshwater and saltwater fish. But so we did the lemon for leukemia challenge earlier this week. I did it with Susan on her live stream, and so we had to nominate 3 people each, and I nominated Kurosh, Guppy's Fish Room, as my first nomination. And then yesterday, I see that he posted a video, and I guess somebody else has challenged him to this challenge. And so he was doing the lemon challenge, and then at the end of it, he nominated 3 people, and the first person of his 3 nominations was me. So it was totally funny. He didn't realize, he didn't know, and then and I saw that yesterday. So we both have to pick another person to nominate. Technically, I guess he's got to pick someone else because I've already been challenged, and I've got to pick someone else because he's already been challenged. So I'm gonna go ahead because I just see it in the chat, and I'm just gonna go with it. Fish Tropic. It's your turn. I hope you like lemons. So I nominate Fish Tropic to do the lemon for leukemia challenge on top of my other 2. I don't know where my notes are from earlier this week. My other 2 was Alluring Betas is my other nominee, and then I also have Priscilla MK Art. So I hope she likes lemons as well. So we have that going on. So yeah, there was that little mix up there with Kurosh. And another thing with Priscilla MK Art, she's doing her first giveaway this week. She's going to be picking randomly 3 comments from that video that she made, and she's going to be the prizes will be a combination of Amazon gift cards and prints of her artwork. So that's really cool. She sent me a whole bunch of prints not too long ago after the hurricanes, and I have one of them behind me on the wall, the angelfish back there. But I'd like to get them framed and just to protect them all. I have like 8 different prints that she sent me. So awesome. Thank you again for that. If she's here in the chat. Besides that, I guess we have some personal news. I did my 2 collaborations this week. I was in Susan from SLC Aquatics, a live stream on Tuesday, and then on Friday evening, I was a guest of the Waterbox's live stream that he does on Friday evenings. So that was pretty cool. I have to say I really enjoy his content. I like his level of production and the amount of energy that he puts into it. He really does make quality videos and does a pretty nice live stream. So that was awesome. Check him out if you don't know of the Waterbox. Let's see, what else do I have? Some fun stuff. I was denied an apartment. We've been looking at moving. We looked at 2 places on the list, and we're denied because of our dog. Here in the West Indies, the local people here have a really different look at dogs. They're pretty much for fighting and for attack and for protection. So they're very afraid of dogs, and they have a very different mentality. They deserve to be in a wood box chained up outside to a tree is how they look at it. So they totally did not like the idea of us having a dog. It was a beautiful place, 2-bedroom. We have a nice fish room and recording studio for me, but no go on that one. So still looking for a new apartment so I can spread out my stuff and I don't lose my girlfriend. Let's see, what else is pretty cool this week? I received my aquarium box. I haven't really been doing unboxing videos of them. I get so many of them at this point. It just seems like kind of boring to keep doing unboxings of those, but they are super awesome. There's always cool stuff in them. And this week I got my aquarium box, and inside of it was a note from Mike from Mass Aquariums. So it looks like he wants me to do a Q&A interview with him. So I will be planning that soon. I emailed him. I haven't heard back from him from his email, but it was really nice to get a personal note in my aquarium box this week or this month. So thank you if he's around. That was pretty awesome. So that's pretty much the news. It was kind of quiet this week. I was expecting to find more videos, but it seems like people were relaxing this week and taking it easy. That's for sure. Let's see. Let me take a look at the chat. I do want to say thank you again to Daryl Dimmer for his $10 super chat earlier before the stream even started. That is super awesome. I really do appreciate that. The super chats is a totally new thing for me, and it definitely helps keep this whole thing going. I've been relying on my Patreon. Google AdSense is not at all reliable, especially as they change the algorithm daily. So would never depend on that. But do look forward to my website, which I hope to be releasing within the next month or so. I look forward to focusing on dried botanicals, a collection of dried leaf litter, different mangrove twigs, stems. Maybe eventually I get into some live plants, and I might start selling some Caridina and Neocaridina shrimp. But at this point, I just really want to focus on the hardscape and the leaf litter because I feel like a lot of people are not using it, and I feel like a lot of people are starting to get into it, find that it has a place in an aquarium, and we'll just see where that goes. I'm looking forward to having some different kinds of rock available as well, and I don't know, just want to have fun with it. I prefer to do what I love and do what's fun and try to make that work rather than force other things. So I'm not trying to sell a bunch of fish food and chemicals and different things to buffer the water and medications. I do what everybody else does. I try to do things different and remain unique. So I'm definitely not going to be setting up some website with everything that everybody else sells. It's just kind of like seems pointless to me. So we'll see how that goes. I've kind of been holding off. It's pretty much made, but I'm just trying to think about. I've been working on all the logistics in regards to the USDA and customs when it comes to shipping dried plant products and stuff like that. So just dealing with all the government loopholes. Make sure I don't get myself in trouble. Let's see. Totally open for conversation and for questions. I'm always up for questions. I don't think nobody ever. I don't see, in all the live streams I've been in lately, people just refrain from asking questions. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with what's going on in here in some of this chat, but I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I think it's kind of important for me to let people kind of know where I came from in this in the whole hobby, and it really it started out from my youth, from being in the pet trade as a child. My parents imported exotic animals, mostly reptiles, iguanas, and some exotic birds. So for a lot of my childhood, I was in Mexico in the jungles, and we were collecting them in many different techniques for catching them with nets and different things like that. So that's really where my interest in wildlife and conservation and stuff like that came from, those experiences in the wild collecting animals in my childhood. My father was always in the fish tanks. He always had some kind of aquarium set up. I think right now he has 4 saltwater tanks, and he's breeding tilapia in the backyard. So, as a child, there were always rows of tanks, racks of tanks in the living room, and birds and lizards. And right now, I believe he still has 2. I think they're 10-year-old African desert tortoises. So those are family heirlooms. Me and my sister can fight over those in about 30 years. So that's really where it stemmed for me, is just growing up in this hobby. Just growing up around animals. Having birds hanging above my bed and goldfish tanks next to my bed is at the age of 5 and 6, and it's in my soul. And at this point, I just really enjoy getting out in nature and finding it in the wild before it ends up in the fish tank, and trying to catch a glimpse of it in the rivers and in the creeks in its original biotope before we try to recreate one in the tank. So definitely look forward to me uh, taking some trips and getting out into the wild, because that is where it's at. I see Raleigh is here from Fish Keeping Jamaica. I've been watching him since like the beginning of his channel, pretty much. I'm always scouring YouTube for new channels, and I saw his channel, and I saw that he was so close to me, and I've been trying to communicate. I have been communicating with him and looking forward to doing a collaboration with him in the future. I'd like to go to Jamaica because it's like a $350 round trip ticket for me. So I would like to go to Jamaica and visit his breeding programs that he has going on at his home. And I believe I don't know if I have it right. He's a teacher of geography, I believe. He's a geography teacher, and so it's really awesome. He has some really good content. He's very knowledgeable about fish and breeding, and he's lucky. You know, there's some cichlids he can find over there in Jamaica. He can find they've got a lot more rivers, a lot more wetlands than we do here, and in the little island that I live on, farther south in the Caribbean. Let's see. Looking for questions in the chat. How do you buy leaf litter from me on right now on Facebook? And what I have right now for leaf litter available is mango leaf, West Indian almond leaf, and West Indian bay leaf. Those are the three main leaf kinds of leaf litter that I'm looking at. I'm also looking at our local guava berry leaf because it's a smaller leaf. I'm trying to create some assortments of leaf litter, you know, of different sizes, so that I can kind of like offer a mixture so that it looks a lot more natural in your tank. You know, because a lot of people get stuck just buying, West Indian almond leaves off of Amazon, and you see everybody's tanks online. They've got like one or two almond leaves in their tank, and that's what they're stuck with working with. And it's I just feel like it could be a lot more available to people. There is one other website. I'm not going to say the name of the website, just because it's kind of competition, but there's only one other person out there doing this online. I've been doing a lot of research on it. I've communicated with him personally, but yeah, he doesn't really want to talk to me anymore unless I pay him. So I'm just going to do my own thing at this point, and learn how to process and curate all of these plant products on my own. Can't be that hard. It's just more dealing with the USDA, making sure that I'm legal. They have different certificates that you have to apply for and fill out, and then there's other processes that you have, other things you have to do to the plant products. Like sometimes they want you to freeze them for 24 hours. Freezing will help kill some of any kind of parasites or bugs that might be on the leaf. And then other people will have you can steam sterilize them. What I like to do is I boil them, or I steam sterilize them in an autoclave, and then I re-dry them, and then I send them out. So they've been autoclaved. All of the stuff I sell has been autoclaved. But yeah, you can check me out I have my personal Joseph Hardin on my Facebook page, and then I also have my JH Aquatics Facebook page. Checking out the chat. Did I get that right, Raleigh? You are a geography teacher? I don't know if you said that once in one of your videos. Maple leaves works well. You know, they work well. Most all leaves, as far as I know, most all plants with leaves create different kinds of antibacterial like agents or oils or whatever not on the surface of the leaves to protect against like funguses and stuff, to protect the tree itself, and sometimes to scare off bugs and stuff like that. So in most leaf litter has antibacterial properties. It's just naturally that's what it's something that leaves do. But I have been told by many people, and I have noticed that especially with shrimp, they won't eat leaf litter that hasn't been properly cured. So I only take leaves, and I've come up with ways to dry the leaves on the tree so that the leaves dry properly and cure thoroughly. Because if you put a semi-green leaf or a leaf that still is kind of flexible and still has some reds and yellows to it, we're talking about Western Union leaf, the shrimp won't touch it. They won't touch it. They won't have nothing, they won't have anything to do with it. They want completely dried, cured, brown, borderline crispy leaf litter. And that's their favorite. Yeah, there's wild magnolia on the island here as well. I haven't got into that. Yeah, I haven't gotten into some of those. Trying to look for things that I know that are on friends' properties, so that I don't have to, things I know I will be able to supply constantly. So I have a few friends that actually have land that is registered with the USDA as farmland. So if I had get into that, I'm reconnecting something with. Am I back? Could someone let me know if I'm back? It looks like OBS went off and then reconnected. Am I reconnected? Just someone let me know in the chat, because I see the chat is still scrolling here, but I am back. Okay, good. That's the first time that's ever happened. See, I have a very strong internet connection when it works, but it's a wireless internet connection, so it can completely drop out on me whenever it wants, being wireless. I've been looking forward to actually switching it over to my cable internet is what I really should be on, because that at least would be consistent being on cable. I'm not going to have a packets dropped and totally drop out completely like that. So I'm really sorry about that. Fun stuff. At least OBS automatically restarts the stream. As soon as the signal came back, it just automatically restarted the stream for me, or I would have been scrambling. Chicken Lips made it. Awesome. It's good to see you in here. I see so many awesome people in this chat that I normally see in some of the bigger channels, like Joel's channel, Joel's live streams. I see a lot of people that this is my second time doing this, so it's really nice to see who shows up and who partakes in chat. It's really nice to see you guys here. And Dank Tank, you are here. That is awesome. I was just going on about my about leaf litter and how I was watching your animal room tour, and I definitely have some really cool leaf litter that I want to send you some stuff for fun. Some almond leaves. It looks like you have that going on there, but I'd also like to send you some of my mango leaf. Well, I try to get a nice assortment because it's nice to have like different shaped leaves. Once you have an assortment, the tank looks natural. It just looks so much more natural when it's a nice blend of stuff. But definitely have to be very thoughtful about it. There's a lot of stuff here that I could not, like the plumerias and stuff like that, I would not put into a tank because they do have toxic properties to them, and their sap. Anything that puts off a white milky sap is usually poisonous or toxic, and I wouldn't put anything like that in the tanks in fear of harming shrimp and things like that would actually eat the leaf litter. I'm quiet here because I'm reading the chat. So besides that, I'm just kind of I'm trying to come up with a for sure plan. It looks like my live stream will be on Sundays for a while here. I try to wait until later in the afternoon to do it because I'm so far on the other side that it's actually 1:30 here, and most of you are still enjoying your coffee. I'm still enjoying my coffee. I'll drink coffee all day long, but yeah, I'm trying to hold on because if I did my stream at 9 o'clock my time, it would be like 5 in California and Washington State. So I try to hold off, but my girlfriend gets off of work at 3, and I kind of try to do this kind of like Joel does. I try to do my thing while I got the house to myself, and it pretty much comes right up to where she's coming home from work. So, but it's just nice to have the house to yourself. Oh, the underwater Ghost shrimp. Yeah, there was the ghost shrimp. It's our ghost shrimp here. The elongata, but that's the specific of it. But I think there's different shrimp that people call ghost shrimp. I think there's just a lot of times the transparent shrimp they classify as the ghost shrimp. So locally we call that our ghost shrimp. Um, but I tried to do a lot of research. And I looked into the university and all of their records and reports of what shrimp they were finding, and to find out exactly what species it was. But I would like to have those in a colony in a tank. I'm sure they wouldn't be a problem, and they'd be super super hardy. The pH in that of those pools of water is 8.0. So I tested the water a few weeks ago, and that same pool, I actually that same day I filmed it, but I cut it out. I didn't use it. I thought it was kind of boring, but I filmed it. I did the pH of that pool of water from the video, and I also tested for any salinity just to see if by chance there was some kind of salinity in it because it wasn't really far from the ocean. But no salinity, straight salt, straight fresh water, but super high pH, really hard. I mean, it pretty much makes sense because those creeks are just rolling boulders, uh, granite and basalt boulders. So there's definitely a lot of minerals in the water. But the tap water I have here is 8.0 as well, just because of it being, it's pretty much how it goes. So I could bring those indoors and I wouldn't have any problem just doing water changes with dechlorinated tap water. Whereas most of my other shrimp, it require me to work the water a little bit more to get the pH down and get the TDS just right. Tropical fish that are native here on the island, toad scooper. Really only three that are kind of listed with the university here. We have the mountain mullet, which is in that video I did 2 days ago. Then we also have the wild guppy, which I really think is a lot closer related to an endler because every time I go and I collect them, which will probably be the next video you see me do will be another collecting video of the wild guppies. They have a really consistent pattern on them, so I really want to call them endlers, but I guess they might be mixed. There might be a mix of them in there. I feel like you don't really know unless you put them under a microscope or you send them off for a DNA test. But I look forward to collecting some more of those. I do have a colony of them behind me in this paludarium. I have my local wild guppies in there. But so there's the local wild guppies. There's the mountain mullet. And then we also have a goby here, which you see in that video as well. It's called the banana goby or the awas banana. And then there's also, I've been told, friends of mine that are not even fish keepers that just like to play around in the creeks, that they have found a neon blue goby. And they didn't think anything of it to tell me that they found a blue goby, but I was like, "What? Are you serious? You found a blue goby here?" Like, so that's a challenge that I have, or something on my bucket list here is to find a neon blue goby here locally, natively. I will definitely, I'd love to get some of those in a tank and create a native tank. I'm sure that will happen eventually. I just want it to be a bigger tank so that I can kind of keep a little bit of everything. Most everything here is hardy enough. I could put a blend of everything in a 55-gallon tank. I could have the mullets. I could keep the guppies in there. The mullets would eat the guppy fry, but I could keep some guppies in there and all the different shrimp, and they'd all kind of be happy together because they live in pools smaller than 55 gallons in some cases. So that would be cool. Multi-tank addiction, what's up? It's good to see you here as well. You're heading out of here. Well, it was awesome to see you in here. Thanks for popping in. I don't know. I missed your stream this morning by like 3 minutes. I've been doing other stuff, running around the house. Sorry, I missed it. But I usually try to check out his stream. If you guys don't know about that, everybody in here is pretty much like a full mod squad. I should just have everybody in here be moderators. I know all the names. But if nobody knows about multi-tank addiction, he does do his live streams on the weekends, Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. And it's a great thing to wake up with in the morning, have a cup of coffee, shoot the stuff about some fish, and he does a little. I like his little. What do you want to call it? I can't even. I'm totally losing it right now. His trivia. He does like a little like 10-question trivia, and that's pretty cool. Everybody can partake in that. That's fun. And the problem here too, there's not really any native plants. There really isn't. The aquatic plants, anyways. I mean, there's algae, different kinds of algae, um, and some moss maybe that would grow on the rocks, but nothing. I've looked and looked and looked, and there's just it's it's um it's just a harsher environment. It's not some like I could think of a place like even like Jamaica, which stays a lot has a lot more moisture year round, has rivers that keep water in them year round. Most of it here, this is pretty much a big rock sticking out of the ocean with lots of elevation all over the place, heavy grade everywhere. So like it either has water or it doesn't have water and it's dry. And there's maybe water under the surface below the boulders, but you know right now it's pretty dry. Just praying for rain so I can go play. But it's not like it's not. This is a subtropical environment, so things like aquatic plants just are not going to make it through annually. They're not going to sustain themselves. They're not going to live. So there's really nothing like that. There's cool ferns and stuff. So I have some local ferns and mosses in my paludarium that are above the water in a more humid, immersed environment, and they do fine in there. But no local plants in my tanks. There is something that I found by one of our resorts that looks like bacopa, but it's not that. And I have collected that before and put it in my tank, and it does not like to be underwater. It likes to kind of cover the surface of the water, but it definitely likes to be above the water. So I played with that, and it looks just like bacopa, but it doesn't it doesn't handle being under the water very well at all. Oh, that was for 54 punchy. That question there is Corey Fry. Who was that was had all the Corey Fry too? There was one of these videos here. I think it was Jeffro's Fish Keeping. He's got a nice little. He's got a couple of tanks with lots of little, not Corey cats, but some Placo Fry. Doing really good. It looked like doing really good. Dwayne Kitchell, what's up? It's good to see you here. Definitely enjoying your live streams. Try not to like hijack them though. Every time I pop in there, you start talking about Peru, but I'm super excited about Peru and definitely look forward to that. I'm still hustling up the money. I mean, I'm working hard. Everything will be fine, but I've been hustling up the money for the ticket itself, and I'm still contemplating how we're gonna handle our first day in Peru. So if nobody knows, Dwayne doesn't want to get a hotel room that night. He looks forward to to kind of just putting our stuff in a locker or putting his stuff in a locker and just kind of hanging out and staying up all night, just kind of walking around. And I didn't know how safe that would be. And I was thinking, well, I'm just gonna get a room and try to talk him into letting me share my room with him so that he's safe. And then I thought, well, maybe we save the money and put both of our stuff in a locker, and we both go out that night and just kind of like hang out, maybe stay kind of close to the airport and stay away from like cr- crowds of young kids that look like they want to snatch and run with stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I am looking into some different little hostels. I was trying to figure out where Corey's going to be staying. So if I do get a room, it'd be nice to maybe stay in the same hotel. Maybe, but I should be getting in so late that it's just going to be like so late. Either find a room and go to sleep, or lock everything up so nobody can steal it, and then we like wander around. We definitely have to have some kind of a camera because if we're gonna do that, we have to get it on film. Going rogue and just walking the streets. I think the combination of Dwayne and mine's street smarts, we should meet together. We should be safe. Should be safe. KG Cichlids, what's up? Hello, how are you? Happy Sunday. See if I'm missing anything else, any super chats or anything. We are good. Let's see. What was it? I'm sorry. What was I looking forward to most in Peru? In Peru, I'm definitely looking forward to to getting away from the city for sure and getting out into the wild. And I really want to get a lot of nature shots. I'm gonna try to write up some kind of like loose scripts, so I have some ideas of some different pieces of content that I want to create, so I don't lose track of stuff and miss filming things. So I definitely want to take some notes ahead of time, and I plan on doing a couple of different pieces. But besides that, it's just gonna kind of be some improv and just trying to catch everything cool that I can, and trying to get into the creeks and stuff, and with maybe some kind of underwater housing and underwater camera, and catching these fish before we start murking up the water and getting everything muddy and pulling out nets and stuff like that. So that would be fun as well. I definitely look forward to catching the fish and getting to see them in person. It'd be nice to bring some home, but I'm not stressing on that so much. Um, I think all of us were thinking we'll just give our fish to Corey and he'll take them, but I think he's gonna have enough of his own. Even he might not have room for any, and I don't look at doing that so much either. So I don't know. We'll see. But I might find a couple of things I really like. They might end up in my luggage somewhere or not. I don't know. Birds, the birds as well, and another thing for me besides birds, other than fishes, is butterflies. I've never really said anything to anybody about that, but I'm really super big into butterflies, tropical butterflies here in the Caribbean. I had a dream at one point of starting my own butterfly aviary, and actually like rearing butterflies from larvae. And I've done it before as a hobby for fun. I've actually reared larvae all the way up in cocoons and everything and had them hatch out as butterflies. But to do that on a big scale, on a commercial scale, is a lot of work and a lot of lab work. So I learned the hard way that it was going to be a lot of work, and it would take like you literally have to have employees because there's so much work to be done if you really wanted to rear enough butterflies to kind of fill an aviary and keep a big enclosed area full of butterflies and stuff. But the butterflies in South America and in Peru, there's some awesome heliconia species of butterfly. The long fin butterfly, which they're more like a glider. They really don't flap their wings a lot. They can pretty much glide around through the air. There's some species of butterfly down there that pretty much have transparent wings. It's some really cool bugs and insects. So the entomology side of things, I'd definitely be into that as well. Yeah, there's the seven fish, but it seems like the the seven fish and then the $35, that's just for like one piece of paperwork. But I feel like there's some other paperwork and stuff that you have to go through on the American side, and then there's like always this chance that they could totally deny you it on the American side. Once you get out of, you might be able to get out of Peru with them on their side, but once you come to U.S. Customs, they want other stuff too, and I don't know if like if Ian or Michael, or if they have that, they don't take responsibility for that side. I don't know if they can help us out with that side, but I feel like from the way they make it sound like that's on us dealing with the American side. Unless we go through them and have it shipped up to New York City or something, there was like this option of, uh, I guess that's usually their normal route is they normally send them to a distribution center somewhere in Manhattan, and then they go from there. And like, I think they go through customs in Manhattan, something like that. I don't remember exactly how they explained it. LS Aquariums, welcome to the stream. I'm looking at 45 minutes now. I'm gonna hang out for another 15 minutes. I would love any questions about like my history in the hobby or what I'm doing on YouTube or anything like that. Totally up for questions. Yeah, there's a trans stripper from Peru, and they have their own venue. They have their own thing that they do, like that that Michael Barber does and stuff when he's bringing large quantities of fish into the states. But it just seems like a lot of work for 7 fish, but it would be awesome. Especially, I think it's like 7 fish, and they have to be all of the same species or something. But that's how I would want to do it anyways, because I'd be trying to bring them in so that I could breed them in captivity. What was this? Just my fish? What are you saying? Somehow he doubled his subs overnight? Somebody probably shared one of your videos on just on WhatsApp or Reddit. That's how that has happened with any for me in any of my videos. And when it comes to big peaks in subscriber count, is usually some sharing videos is the best way you can help another channel is sharing out their videos because you're spreading it. That's the best way to spread it. It can do wonders for a channel. I've had one video that was shared on Just App by some guy in India. He shared it 3 times in India in one day, and it just spread and went viral through India and came back to the United States. And I now have 130,000 views on that video, all from being shared through WhatsApp. So you never know. It is good if you're interested in finding out how that happened. Go through your logistics, and you'll find out exactly how it happened, down to whether it was shared on a mobile device, or on a PC, or whatever. So it's good to find out how that happened, at least for trying to recreate it in the future, possibly. My top 10 favorite fish, that's a lot of fish. That's a big list. I do have not a top 10. Do I have a top 10? I have a video that I've made on my top, I believe it is my top 7 or top, I think it's my top 8 community aquarium fish. You can check that out in my videos. I believe that's in my tutorials. It's one of my first videos, actually, probably my first 2 months of YouTube. But I had created a video going over my top 8 community fish. And that's pretty decent. Pro Team Aquatics. Let's see. Eric, what's up? Good to see you in here. See him in Big Easy's live streams all the time. I look forward to checking out that live stream as well on Wednesday at 9 p.m. I'm going to be doing a subject of mixed African cichlids. I look forward to checking that out. I'm in there all the time anyways. And besides that, I definitely look forward to doing a little bit of another live stream later on this week and getting into some live microscopy on my channel. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out my microscope and hook it up and do some live microscopy of some of the microorganisms, some of the different protists and microorganisms that reside in my aquariums that maintain the nitrogen cycle. I look forward in the future to actually going ahead and taking a tank from scratch from the beginning and just observing the microorganisms from the very beginning and showing the process as your nitrogen cycle develops and the different colonies of organisms start to show up in your aquarium. And I think it's pretty cool because it really gives a much better idea of what's going on in your aquarium, because really that's the most important part. I mean, you got to get past that before you can do anything else with your tank. You really got to get it cycled and get a nice balance of microorganisms. So it has a nice balance, and with water changes, you should be pretty good and have a nice mellow algae activity. It's not insane. Like my my angelfish tank back here, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was a lot of green algae on the glass. Not a lot, but it had a nice little film of it going on the glass. And then I watched as some microorganisms were starting to colonies of microorganisms were starting to develop in the tank, and slowly all of the algae was eaten off the glass. And I just watched it slowly happen and took a couple of samples of that and looked at it under the microscope to kind of see exactly what was going on. And it was mostly amoebas and paramecium that were colonies of paramecium and mostly amoeba that were spreading from different locations and just slowly eating all the algae as they move across the glass and spread out like in like little rings on the glass. So it was pretty cool to see it happen, and then to get to see it under the microscope. So that's pretty cool. But I feel like a live streaming microscopy would be cool. Hopefully not. It's not too boring. Kind of nerdy. Definitely have to make sure that I narrate, keep the microphone close as I do it. Maybe throw on some music that's copyright free. Try not to make it boring and too nerdy, but I don't know. I'm a nerd. Definitely keep it subject related though. I'm gonna look for specific things and try to have a focus and a purpose and behind it, and try to focus on a specific organism or something, and do a little research, and we'll go over it as well. I don't want it to just be some random microscopy like I don't know what we're looking at. There will be a goal, and I'll be looking for specific organisms in each of the streams, and we'll there will definitely be a purpose behind it. Yes, this is live. It's still live. What is up, Joel? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you popping by. Everything seems to be working good this time around. I'm not lagging like crazy. I don't think. At least no one is complaining about it. But at this point, I'm almost at the end of my stream. Pretty much rambling, looking for questions. Talking about some plans I have in the future. I still am looking forward to doing this aquaponics project. I have a restaurant here on the island that would like to start playing with aquaponics. At this point, they do have hydroponics going on their rooftop of the restaurant. Just some 4-inch PVC pipe running with a small pump, and they're really using like little Rubbermaid totes as their sumps and for filtration. And then they're doing hydroponics of different herbs and some microgreens on the rooftop. And I was checking it out the other day. Well, it's been a while now since I've been checking it out, but we really totally have a plan here to go forward with it. And I have a 300-gallon tub that I want to put on the roof with their project. And so we'll start running the hydroponics through the rest of this, create a new system and create some aquaponics there. So there will actually be, I'll get the fish, kind of have a deal. I'll get the fish and they get the herbs for the restaurant. And they can tell everybody in the restaurant they have aquaponics on their roof. And it'll be a small system, so it'll be a good test for me. It'll be a good experience. I really look forward to that. I'm not going to do anything big with a huge waste load like koi or tilapia or anything like that. I'm not trying to do anything that you can eat, because I don't think many people really want to do that. My father does tilapia in Arizona, and he sells them to the Hispanic population, and they do eat them. So my father does do that in Arizona with tilapia in the backyard. But I would do some kind of probably just fancy guppies, something that a hardy fish that's an aquarium fish though, that would be good for the hobby, that is hardy and has a good the people like to buy it. Like, guppy would be a good one. Trying to think of another one, probably some other live bears maybe, or maybe not even a live bear. I've been thinking about cherry barbs because I have bred them before and I really like them. So I might do like cherry barbs indoors, and then when the fry get to a certain size, taking large portions of fry to that 300-gallon tub and letting them grow out in the tub and supply nutrients for the aquaponics system. So that could be cool. But either way, the whole idea of like, I like the fact that I'm incorporating it into a restaurant, and of course the restaurant likes it. They love it. It's a selling point to tell their customers that their salad greens were grown on the roof in a hydroponic system. I mean, that's what they're saying right now, but we get to take it to a little bit another level. And it'd be some cool content for me and a learning experience, that's for sure. Because I'm trying to figure out how you would say you have a population of fish, a colony of fish or whatnot, and like how do you deal with a situation when you might have a problem where there's sick fish. Now you want to medicate the fish, but you want to put medication in the same water that your plants are going to consume, right? My dog is acting crazy. I was making sure he's okay. um, so yeah, there's that there's that side of it, and I don't understand how do you handle that situation, right? When you have to medicate your fish, do you have to have separate tanks, quarantine the fish out? Do you have a diverter valve somewhere where you can circulate another source of water and divert the water while you medicate that tub with fish in it? So you probably want to have more than one tub so that you could isolate a tub if you need to. Like, it seems like the weirdest thing. I don't understand how to handle that situation when you get to the point of having a bacteria in the water or sick fish that need to be medicated. So I definitely am. There's definitely a learning curve there. I know that Joel's been working on the same kind of project, and I'm just hoping that I can learn from his experiences along the way as well, and we can all grow in this because I definitely look forward to doing. I've always wanted to do that, um, just for a personal hobby. Maybe some microgreens and stuff. Nothing too huge, but for personal consumption, doing agriculture for personal consumption, anyways. That way. Yeah, a diverter, but I'm definitely thinking like you probably want to have more than one tank at least, so that you could shut one down, so that the plants don't have to absorb those medications, and maybe the medications don't have an effect on the plants depending on what you're using. But like I'm thinking like erythromycin and metronidazole and ICX. I don't know if they would just melt your plants' root systems. Yeah. Oh, and there's other things too. Like a lot of people here will take and put like banana trees and stuff below their houses, and then they take the kitchen, a lot of the gray water from people's sinks and stuff. They won't plumb it into their septic system because it adds. Everybody here is out in the like out. It's not like city sewage, right? So everybody has their own water treatment systems. Most people have three-stage systems, or they have the old grandfathered in septic systems, which are one stage. But a lot of people will not. They'll divert their shower water and their kitchen sink water and let it run out the back of the house, the bottom of the house, and they water like banana palms and stuff like that. But I have seen some research that's been done in Europe where they've actually infected plants with things like hepatitis C, and then they've managed to actually infect an animal, a mammal, like I think it was a rat or a rabbit or something like that, and they managed to infect the mammal with hepatitis C from the fruit of the infected plant. I believe it was tomatoes they were working with. It was tomatoes or bananas that they were working with, and that was really crazy. And some people have argued with me that that's not possible, um, but I've seen a few different reports claiming that that's possible, and that's pretty much what Monsanto does. They embed bacterias and viruses into the DNA of plants so that they will not survive without their fertilizers and their pesticides. So, I mean, Monsanto's is doing it. So I totally believe that you could probably take the water, water that has hepatitis in it. You could accidentally give it, you could eat a banana from your house that could give you hepatitis if you let black water get down to those plants. Anyways, just different things like that I think about when you get into big systems like this. You see a lot of fish farms. That's their biggest problem is dealing with the medications and viruses and parasites. Because you have that many fish in close quarters like that, um, things can move really fast. And you find a lot of these fish, especially the fishes that we consume on the food industry, like salmon, and and other popular fish like that, tilapia even. Um, they're swimming in medication a lot of their lifetime. You know, it's just really weird how the fish uh, how fish farming happens. I'm really intrigued by it, and I'm also really intrigued in by doing it in a better way that's healthier for the fish, a little bit more natural way. Because I feel like people think about money when they think about farming fish, especially for like agriculture for food, and they just think about dollar signs. They think about counting the pennies, and the health of the fish comes last. And that at that point, the health of the fish, that's the quality of the meat that you're going to consume. And I think that there's a lot, you know, we have destroyed fish as a food source. We've really done a lot of damage. The fish didn't do it by themselves. It was all the all of the pesticides and the medications that we put into the water. It's really a bummer. And I hope that we learn from it and we can turn it around, because I really like to eat fish, but I'm really scared to buy it in the market anymore. After watching too many documentaries of tissue samples coming out of the grocery store and all the parasites that they find in the fats and in the meat, it really makes it hard for me to buy fish. So I only eat locally caught fish. I don't know how much better that is, but it's a seasonal thing for me too. I wait for the water to be a little bit cooler, or there's less parasites that could be in the fish naturally in the wild. But I only really eat local tuna. It's pretty much the only fish that I eat now. I'm just catching up on the chat here. Yeah, I don't know. This is a really interesting subject to me. The farming of fish, commercial farming of fish, and doing it in a humane way. And I think that across the board and the whole world, I'm not just talking about the United States, they have a big problem with this in Norway and other major waterways. There's definitely a lot that we need to learn about commercially farming fish for the food industry and stuff like that. We're way behind, and the fish are suffering. That's for sure. My dog's freaking out because I'm like talking to the computer and he doesn't understand. So he's having his own little like freak out on the floor because it's just like doesn't know how to handle it. Yeah, UV light. Yeah, UV light can help, but a lot of these fish farms, they sit there and they put the fish in an enclosed netted area like on a river or waterway, and then they're dumping all these medications into the water and all this food, and half the food falls to the bottom, and their feces fall to the bottom. So now you've got this pile of feces and uneaten fish food that's like 2 or 3 feet thick, that's decomposing on the floor of the waterway. And you can literally, I've seen documentaries where gases are bubbling up, you know, methane and other gases are bubbling up out of this pile of of decomposing matter on the floor of the river, and of the bed of the river, and it's disgusting. And then you have all the other fish that are in the wild that are swimming right by all this, eating it, getting infected by the different bacteria and viruses, because they're not sitting in the medication in that little cove 24 hours a day. So they swim away from that spot. They've got a virus, and now they've got no medication around them. And then the local people are, you know, 3 miles down the river fishing to feed their family, and they're picking up these fish and they go home and they eat them, and they think they're fine because they think they got wild caught fish, but they're wild caught, but they're infected by the farm. And there's no, they have no, they're not held responsible for any of this. I could rant about this for forever. I should stop talking about it, not to be too negative, but we definitely have a lot to learn about farming fish. I don't think we have a lot to learn. There's just different ways to do it. It's the right way to do it. That's it, I guess. Yeah, there's sulfide gases. There's all kinds of gases coming up out of this bed of stuff uh, underneath of these fenced off areas, these buoyed off areas, out off the and little coves and stuff off of like these main waterways. I'm talking about. I'm thinking of specifically talking about places like in Alaska, where there's Alaskan, wild salmon. Uh, but yeah, unfortunately, right now, maybe I just watched too many things. I feel like one of those people that just became a vegetarian because they watched 20 animal rights videos and now they're vegan. But it's not quite. I mean, I've been saying this stuff for a while, but I mean, it's a little bit like that. I mean, you watch these videos and it's kind of hard not to be a little intimidated and scared to eat some of that meat now. But I'm not trying to be a fanatic about it, but more than anything, it'd be nice to be one of the people to help to educate and maybe find different ways to do this that's more sustainable and less invasive on the environment. So I'm totally ranting. I'm 8 minutes over 2 o'clock. I'm chilling. I got a little bit longer before the girlfriend pops in the door, and it's my little bit of time to chill. So there's that. And kind of, it's is my day to do my thing. I didn't film as much as I would have liked to, but usually I get up really, really early, and the lights go up, the camera lights, and boom mic goes up, and I start running through my notes and try to film a couple of pieces. I try to kind of do a batch thing if I can on my Sundays, but doing the news live has kind of changed it up because I'm focusing on that and trying to make sure that everything's working and do a speed test, make sure the internet likes me that day, and so thank you, Dwayne. Yeah, and thanks for coming in. Thanks for checking out the chat. I appreciate it. D, yeah, thank you. I appreciate seeing you in here as well. Look forward to seeing your stream this week. I think you do your regular, was it down the wormhole? You do your regular stream on, is it Tuesdays or Wednesdays? I feel like you have like a day. I'm trying to get these all down. That's another thing I'm trying to do in relation to the hashtag FISHFAM news is creating. I think that sorry, I think Candy Overhaul has created something like that, or Nisi has created a list, a schedule. But I'd like to make a nice schedule and post it, or make a video and post everything in a video, a quick little like 1 or 2 minute thing, and just kind of give a little heads up on the weekly schedule of all the major consistently live streams that are going on. Just get it all together so everybody can see it at once. But just before me, oh, so you streamed today and I missed it then. Oh, sorry. So I guess you're on at like well, it'd be 12 o'clock my time. I guess you do like a 1 hour thing. I have been in it a few times. I've managed to make it. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Things are slowing down and quieting up. It's about 2:11 p.m. my time, but look forward to a live stream sometime this week. It's gonna be in the evening my time, so it'll probably be, still be evening for you guys. I'll wait until later to do it. I'm probably thinking of doing it in like 8 or 9 o'clock my time, kind of after the house quiets down here and I get the living room to myself. But I plan on doing a live stream sometime this week with my microscope and doing live microscopy. I should set up that event super early this week so everybody will have a notification on that. And I think one more thing, I don't know who's left in here, but it is really important to remember the new changes on YouTube with their algorithm in regards to notifications. They have a default way that the notifications is set up, and if you click the bell icon, it will give you notifications, but they're kind of random unless you go and you like right click on it. I believe you go into the settings of the notification, the bell icon, and you can actually set it to get all notifications. That's why some people are not getting all the notifications for other channels. It's something that I guess they changed recently. So if you like my content and you want to make sure that you get the notifications, make sure that you click on the bell icon, and you also make sure that you click the box for getting all notifications, not just some of the notifications or random notifications. So that's really important to check that out. I have to start doing that on all the channels that I really like to keep up on, because I've noticed that some of my channels, the settings for that bell icon were different, and I didn't even realize that. So uh, some people have not been getting my notifications, and I haven't been receiving some of other people's as well. Joel, yeah, the beard is strong. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't decided to shave it off yet. I didn't know if I was gonna keep it going until Peru, and then maybe like shave it off halfway through Peru just to be weird. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I've just been going strong. I noticed a few gray hairs in it the other day looking in the mirror. That kind of freaked me out for a second, but it's life. You have to embrace the gray hairs. Embrace the gray hairs. Oh yeah, no, the angelfish right now. See what's happening with my house right now. My air conditioning unit died on me. A nice brand new Kenmore AC unit. The what they call the hard start on the compressor went out. Brand new thing, but I looked it up, tried to figure out how to fix it. I could buy the part, wait for it to ship here, fix it, but I had to have some kind of air conditioning to keep my temperatures and my tanks down. So I kind of borrowed an old crappy window AC unit from a friend, and it was like came out of some like crack house or something. It's really nasty and stinky and dirty. I did everything I could to clean it up, but I have that in my window right now. But it does half the work. It does half of what I need for my house. So the temperature is warmer in here than normal. So yes, my angel fish, that temperature in that tank is about 80 right now. So they are normally at 78. So yeah, they're starting to getting a little bit frisky with each other. Really, all I need to do to get those angelfish to spawn is if I add, well, if I kick it up, if I let it get to 82, and I start feeding them, you know, bloodworms and live foods, it's like a magic trick. Within 24 hours, 48 hours, their feeding tubes are out, and they're ready to rock and roll. So I honestly try to keep the temperature of my angelfish tank, all my tanks, I try to keep them down about 78, so that just to lower their metabolism a little bit, so they don't eat so much and they're not so aggressive with each other. Was it starting to look like Lucas Brett's? I'm not gonna get that crazy with it. Or Dwayne. Dwayne's got the beard. Dwayne's got the beard. Yeah, I was trying to make sure that me and Dwayne kind of match when we're walking the streets in the middle of the night, walking the streets of Lima, Peru, with our street smarts. We got to make sure that we have beards so we look a little bit more tougher and aggressive, right? Oh boy, gotta get myself a big black leather jacket or something, and just put some studs on the shoulders. Maybe that'll keep away some of the little street thugs. Oh boy, I don't know. We'll figure out how we handle this one though. That's definitely going to be an interesting. We'll see what happens the first 24 hours of Lima, Peru. First 24 hours of Peru, anyways. I prefer. My goal would be to find some food. Like I hit Peru, I hit Lima. Like I want to find like some local food. I'll be hungry. I'll be ready to munch on some stuff. Yeah, hire some bodyguards. Big Peruvian bodyguard. Yeah, I want to say one more time. I want to say thanks again to Mike from Mass Aquariums. I received my aquarium box this month with a personal note from Mike from Mass in it, requesting his Q&A. in giving me a little props for the hashtag FISHFAM news. So that was pretty cool. And it looks like he threw a few extra things in my box this month, which made it kind of heavy, kind of heavy. But that was pretty awesome getting that. I really appreciated it. But where are we at now? I'm getting it at 2:18. All right, I should get out of here. Definitely go give myself about half an hour to clean up the house before the girlfriend comes home, so she doesn't trip over things as she walks in the front door. And what I want to say, thank you guys so much for coming and checking out the chat, the stream. I really appreciate your patience as I learn all this stuff and get a little bit better at it. It's definitely a fun experience here on YouTube. I'm enjoying myself, and I appreciate all your patronage. If you do like this content and you're interested in supporting me, I do get super chats here, but my Patreon is really awesome community as well. I do recommend checking out my Patreon, and I'm trying to do everything I can to create separate content just for my Patreons. And that's definitely a little bit extra work, but I feel like it's worth it because they are supporting me, and I definitely appreciate their opinions as well when they give me suggestions and ideas, because they're the ones paying for and supporting my content. That's for sure. But in the end, this is all a labor of love for me, and it's not all about the money at all. This is a passion of mine, and there will always be fish tanks in my presence in my home until I die. That is for sure. Even if I'm so old I have to pay someone else to keep the tank clean, I will have fish tanks until the very end. So thank you guys all so much again for hanging out in this chat. It means the world to me. If you're not subscribed to this content, you like it, you want to see more of it, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down below. Don't forget about my Patreon account, and don't forget to check out all these other channels that I mentioned earlier this morning in the hashtag FISHFAM news. And remember, guys, keep your tanks clean, your fish fed, and have fun.